Have you ever noticed that the nicest people in your life are often the most exhausted, the most taken advantage of, and somehow the least respected? There's something deeply wrong with this picture, and Carl Jung saw it coming over a century ago. What if I told you that your kindness, the very thing you've been praised for since childhood, might actually be the reason you feel powerless, drained, and invisible in your relationships? Today we're going to explore one of Jung's most controversial insights: why being too nice isn't just ineffective, it's actually a form of psychological self-destruction.
Carl Jung didn't just study the human psyche, he dissected it, and one of his most unsettling discoveries was what he called the shadow of niceness. Jung observed that many people use kindness not as genuine compassion, but as a psychological defense mechanism. Think about it. When was the last time you said yes when you desperately wanted to say no? When did you last smile through your teeth while someone walked all over you? This isn't about becoming cruel or heartless. This is about understanding why your unexamined kindness might be the very thing keeping you trapped in cycles of resentment, exhaustion, and powerlessness. Jung believed that true strength comes not from endless giving, but from conscious boundaries. And here's the kicker. The people who respect you most are often those who've seen you say no with conviction.
Let me paint you a picture that might feel uncomfortably familiar. Sarah works in marketing. She's known as the helpful one, always staying late to help colleagues, always saying yes to extra projects, always being understanding when others make mistakes that affect her work. Sound familiar? But here's what Jung would notice. Sarah's kindness has become compulsive. She can't say no without feeling guilty. She can't set boundaries without feeling selfish. And slowly, her colleagues have learned something dangerous. Sarah's time and energy are free. They don't ask her opinion in important meetings because they know she won't push back. They give her the worst assignments because she'll accept them with a smile. Now, let's contrast this with Michael. Michael is also kind, but his kindness is selective. When a colleague asks for help, he might say, "I'd love to help, but I'm committed to finishing my own project first. Can we schedule this for next week?" When someone tries to dump their responsibility on him, he responds with, "That sounds challenging. How are you planning to handle it?" The difference? Sarah's kindness comes from fear. Fear of rejection, fear of conflict, fear of not being liked. Michael's kindness comes from choice. He helps when he can genuinely contribute, not when he's being used as an emotional dumping ground.
Jung called this phenomenon the persona trap. The persona is the mask we wear to be accepted by society. But here's where it gets dangerous. When your persona becomes so dominant that you lose touch with your authentic self, including your right to say no, to have boundaries, to prioritize your own needs. Jung observed that people pleasers often have what he termed an inflated persona. They've become so identified with being the nice one that they've forgotten they have other options. They've made their worth dependent on external validation, and this creates a vicious cycle. The more they give, the less they're valued. The more available they are, the less respect they command. But here's Jung's most profound insight. This compulsive kindness often masks deep-seated anger and resentment. The shadow, Jung's term for the repressed aspects of personality, grows stronger with every suppressed no, every swallowed frustration, every time you smile when you want to scream. Think about the last time you felt truly angry at someone for taking advantage of you. Jung would ask, who gave them permission? The uncomfortable truth is that we train people how to treat us. When we consistently prioritize others' comfort over our own boundaries, we're essentially teaching them that our needs don't matter. So, how do we break free from this pattern? Jung's approach wasn't about becoming selfish. It was about becoming conscious. Here are the key strategies. First, recognize your kindness triggers. What situations
make you automatically say yes when you want to say no? Is it when someone seems upset, when they use guilt, when they appeal to your sense of responsibility? Awareness is the first step to choice. Second, practice what Jung called conscious selfishness. This isn't about being cruel. It's about making deliberate choices about where you invest your energy. Ask yourself, am I helping because I genuinely want to contribute, or because I'm afraid of the consequences of saying no? Third, embrace the discomfort of disappointing others. Jung understood that growth requires us to tolerate anxiety. When you start setting boundaries, people will push back. They'll call you selfish, difficult, or changed. This isn't a sign you're doing something wrong. It's a sign you're doing something different. Fourth, develop what I call selective kindness. Be generous with those who respect your boundaries and value your contributions. Be polite but firm with those who see your kindness as weakness to exploit. Remember, true kindness comes from a place of abundance, not scarcity. When you're constantly depleted, your kindness becomes a form of manipulation. You're giving to get approval, not to genuinely help. Carl Jung once said, "The most terrifying thing is to accept oneself completely." And perhaps nowhere is this more challenging than in examining our relationship with kindness. We've been conditioned to believe that nice equals good, that boundaries equal selfishness, that saying no makes us bad people. But Jung understood something profound. Authentic power comes not from endless accommodation, but from conscious choice. When you can say no without guilt, your yes becomes infinitely more valuable. When you can disappoint others without losing yourself, your approval becomes something worth earning. The people who truly love and respect you don't want you to be a doormat. They want you to be whole, authentic, and strong enough to stand in your truth. Your real friends won't abandon you when you start setting boundaries. They'll respect you more for it. So I leave you with this question. What would your life look like if you stopped using kindness as a shield against rejection and started using it as a conscious gift to those who truly deserve it? What would change if you became as protective of your energy as you are generous with your heart? The journey from people-pleasing to authentic kindness isn't easy, but it's the path to genuine self-respect and meaningful relationships. And sometimes, the kindest thing you can do for yourself and others is to stop being so damn nice all the time. If this resonated with you, I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments. Have you recognized these patterns in your own life? What's one boundary you've been afraid to set? Remember, awareness is the first step to transformation.